Hey, what's up nerds? How's it going? Welcome back to another anime figurine haul. My name is AniNaffs, and today we are doing the 5th video, going over the backlog of figures that came in over the hiatus. So there's no overall theme today in this one, like the last couple of videos have been, but rather I've taken figures from 3 different franchises, and so I figured we'll just go over all of them in this video. Those franchises being the Blackrock Shooter series, the NieR franchise, and the Made in Abyss series. So yeah, with that said, let's get into the figures. Starting with the Blackrock Shooter figures and a couple of scale figures, which is a bit different since we normally start small and make our way up to the scale figures. But no, not today. The first one I have here is the 2011 release of Strength from the Blackrock Shooter anime, and this one is manufactured by Good Smile. So this one I got pre-owned, obviously, since it came out like well over 10 years ago. And I mostly wanted it because around a year ago, I got a couple of pop-up figures of Blackrock Shooter and Deadmaster, and I noticed that they didn't have the original Strength getting a pop-up figure as well, but they had the new characters from the New Dawn anime that were getting a release. And since I thought that they completely butchered the Blackrock or the Strength character design for the New Dawn release, I figured I'd at least try to get the old version of Strength as a figure, because there's no way I was going to get the new version because it looks trash. At least in my opinion, so yeah, I ended up getting this. The other Blackrock Shooter figure I have here for today is the 1/8 scale Exhaustible version of Blackrock Shooter, also manufactured by Good Smile. So as you can see, this is a hefty sized figure. I think the box up and down is, I think, around 56 centimeters long, but that's also because the figure itself, with base and figure included, is like 46 centimeters tall, which is a decent size. It's like just under half a meter. So yeah. One really cool thing that I wanted this figure for as well is since the base has a USB plug-in, it means that this bit here, and I think the spikes on the back, have the ability to glow. Like they've just got like a light in them, and I thought that was a pretty cool wee feature. One downside about getting this figure though was that it was an individually shipped one, like I couldn't ship it with anything else, so the postage for that month was abnormally high, so that was kind of sad, but yeah. I got her in the end, and now I'm just gonna have to keep her in the box until I find somewhere that I can display her in like 2 years time, because I don't have anywhere I can display a half a meter figure. Like that display case there can't handle that, and I don't have anywhere else that can really display a figure this size, so one day I'll figure it out. One day. Moving on to the figures from the NieR franchise now, the first figure I have for this lot is the Nindroid of A2, the short-haired version from the game NieR Automata. So I actually already have an A2 figure, or an A2 Nindroid, already on my shelf back there, and I was kind of pondering whether or not I should get this one when it went up for pre-order, but after comparing the two, it turns out that the only similarities between the short-haired version and the long-haired version is that they both obviously have the same stand, because it's generic stand, and they both have the same default faceplate. Everything else is different. So this one has different weapons, different outfit, different hair, obviously. 2 of the faceplates are different, so it's essentially a completely different figure, just based on the same character. So yeah, that was kind of when I was just like, you know what, I definitely want to get her, because she looks cool, I like her, plus I really like the NieR Automata series, and NieR Replicant. At least those two. I haven't really dabbled much in the other NieR games, or like Drakengard or anything that Yoko Taro's done. But yeah, I think she looked cute. I was happy to get her, so yeah. Another Nindroid that I got from the NieR franchise is this one here. It is Theo and Mama from the game NieR Reincarnation, which is a phone game, I'm pretty sure, which I've played like 20 minutes of personally. Even though I haven't really played enough of like the game to really care about the character, I feel like I mostly bought this figure based on FOMO, because I know that if I do eventually play NieR Reincarnation, I will really want this character afterwards, and so I figure I'll just buy her now without, you know, the fear of missing out later, because, you know, after you play a game, you probably want the character from it, because now you've got an attachment to them. And Granted, to be fair, I don't care about that shit. I just buy figures because I like the look of the character design. Like, be damned whether or not I'm going to play the game, ever. A good example of that was the, figurine, of course the fucking figurine, the gacha game video, where I hadn't played any of the games that any of the gacha characters were from, and I have no intention of playing any of them, but I just think all the character designs are cool. The last one I have here from the NieR figures is the standard version of 2B from the manufacturer Flair. So this one is the re-release of this figure. The first one originally got released in like September of 2019, and then it got released again in October 2021, and then this one got released in December of 2022. I don't know why I got the third release of this. I would have figured that this figure should have been on my radar earlier on, since I was pretty actively buying figures back in 2019, so I couldn't tell you why I didn't buy this figure earlier. But yeah, I think she looks really cool. As I said, she is the standard version of this figure, so there is a deluxe version, which comes with a alternate faceplate to have her eyes rather than the blindfold. It has a pod, so like the little like robot that flies around. And it also has an alternate body part, which you can swap out the dress with the leotard. And considering I'm not the biggest fan of the leotard, and the only thing I really would have wanted the deluxe version for is the non-blindfold faceplate and the pod, the fact that the deluxe version was 10,000 yen more than the standard version, and I only wanted it for two things, I was like, nah, I can go without that, thank you very much. For 10,000 yen less, I decided to go with this one. I think she looks cool enough without any of the extra stuff. But yeah, we got this one. She looks really cool and I really like her. Moving into the Made in Abyss figures now, I have saved my favorite franchise till last. The first one I have from this lot is a prize figure of Nanachi, manufactured by Taito from the Colorful Collection. So yeah, it's just a prize figure of Nanachi. I think Nanachi is just really cute, and I'm always like keen to get more figures of her. I currently have like 2 scale figures on the way as re-releases, because I missed out on a bunch of the Nanachi figures that came out when the anime first aired. There's also another really cute prize figure, again by Taito, of Nanachi and Miti, which looks like this, which is of Nanachi and Miti just kind of like huddling together, and it just looks so wholesome and adorable, especially if you like take in context of the show. It just looks so good. I'm really hoping that this one does deliver, because sometimes, you know, the prototype can just look a lot better than the actual figures release, but I'm really looking forward to this prize figure. Like, I don't typically look forward to prize figures as much as scale, obviously, because scale figures are just much more, I guess, fancy, but as far as prize figures go, holy shit, this one looks good. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so I've got a wee few Made in Abyss Nindroids to go through. So the first one is the one of Rico, which is a re-release, which I can't remember if it came out this year or last year, but I do know that the original one came out in like 2019, which I'm pretty sure was still when I wasn't collecting Nindroids. Like, I used to have a pretty firm stance that I thought that Nindroids looked like shit, and I didn't like them. I wasn't a big fan of the whole chibi look to the characters. Oh, how the times have changed at this point. But yeah, because I was intentionally avoiding and just did not like Nindroids at the time, I missed out on the original release of this one. So I was really happy when this got re-released, because they were doing a new run of new figures from Made in Abyss, or Nindroids from Made in Abyss. So I got this one. At the same time, I also picked up the re-release of Reg as well. For the exact same reason, I missed out on the release of Reg back in 2019 when he first got released. And so when the re-release came out, I was like, yes, get on that now. Get it, buy it, right now. So yeah, this is also the only male Nindroid I have as well. Like, out of that entire shelf there of Nindroids, it's all women. It's all female characters, so yeah, first male Nindroid to go on the shelf. It is weird as well, since like out of like 600 figures, I could probably count the amount of male characters I have on one hand. So yeah, fun fact. I also already have the Nanachi figure, because I think she's had 3 releases. So I think the original one came out closer to 2019. I don't actually remember the exact date that one came out. And then the re-release came out in, I think, last year. So I ended up getting her during that. And then when these two got re-released, there was a re-release of Nanachi. So I got her already. Speaking of the fluffy ones, I also got the Nindroid of Factor as well. You know, the other adorable little bun from Made in Abyss. So it looks like, based on the figure and the faceplates that they put on this one, it looks like they're trying to go more with the cute side of Factor that they're trying to portray. Which, to a degree, it's like, yes, she is absolutely adorable in the series. But also, this character is like the most aggressive, psychopathic character in the entire series. With good reason. Let's be fair, like, she was just born with rage. And I feel like because of that factor, while they've got all the cute stuff in the original Nindroid, I reckon it'll be really cool if they did a extension pack or like a deluxe version of Factor, kind of like what they did with Amaya from Arknights, where they have like a whole bunch of like arm replacements and faceplate replacements, where they could have like one where it's like her arm had been ripped off and it's like a severed limb, like what happens in the show, or how she could have like a face replacement where half of her head gets eaten off, or they could have like props of her like having like stuff that she's ripping apart, like, you know, the really psychopathic, aggressive kind of stuff, which shows the more gory side of Factor, since, you know, she's both cute and also a complete murderous psychopath. Again, with good reason. So yeah, I reckon it'll be cool if they did. I don't know if they will, but that's something I really want to see from this figure here. And the last one of the Made in Abyss Nindroids I have here is the one of Pruska, whom I don't really know how to talk about, because, I mean, all I can really say is that I think she's a cute looking character, and at this point I'm just trying to get all of the Made in Abyss characters, because I'm kind of biased towards the series, if you haven't noticed. But yeah, she's a cute character. I like the look of the Nindroid. It's kind of cute because it does come with Minya as well, the little creature that she has as a pet. And also, this Nindroid also has the white whistle that you can give to Rico, which, it's a bit of a punch in the gut, let's be honest, considering it comes with the Pruska figure, but at the same time it kind of makes sense considering spoilers. If you haven't watched Made in Abyss, go watch it now. Like, do it right now, stop watching this video and watch it, because it's a good series. But yeah, that's the last one out of the Nindroids that I have, and it also means that I have all but one of the Made in Abyss Nindroids that are currently out. The only one I don't have is Bondrewd, which, besides the fact that he's a male figure, so I typically wouldn't get him anyway, I think the Bondrewd Nindroid, or the Bondrewd character, didn't translate to a Nindroid character design, because I think based on how his helmet looks, he just looks way too much like a bobblehead. So maybe if he gets re-released, I'll consider getting him, but I don't think his character design looks very good as a Nindroid. Yeah. So the last one for this video I have here is the non-scale figure of Pruska from the company Fat. So this figure is one that I've been waiting on for a while now, since she was delayed like 2 or 3 times during, you know, the pre-order wait time. And I think she just looks really fucking adorable. I quite like the look of her. Obviously, as I've said probably before, I'm very biased towards the Made in Abyss art style. I just think, you know, it's just really cute, fluffy, rounded. And yeah, overall, this is just like a really cool looking figure that I've been looking forward to for a while. I also quite like how, like, down there for the base, they've modeled it around the ground for the Sea of Corpses, which is on the 5th layer, where she predominantly lives. One thing that is a bit of a kick in the face though is for part of it they've gotten one of the capsule things, which I'm not sure if it goes on the base anywhere, but yeah, that comes with this figure, so I don't know why, but yeah, it's obviously a reference to what happens during the movie, and it just seems a bit mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I assume you just kind of put it next to the figure just because why not? But yeah, it's a really cute figure. I really have been looking forward to this one. Since I probably won't be opening her up anytime soon, she's probably just going to live up on the top of my DVD shelf there, right next to the Rico figure. But yeah, that is pretty much it for today's haul. They were all the figures that I want to go through in today's video. Sorry if it was a little bit rambly or more rambly than usual. I haven't had the best of luck of articulating myself properly during trying to record these videos for the last 2 weeks. Like every time I try to sit down and record, my mind is just like, hey, are you trying to record? Well, I will not cooperate, good sir. And I'm like, no, brain, no, don't do that. And it's like, no, I will not help you. And so, yeah, it's just kind of been me just stuttering and not being able to finish sentences and just not knowing what to talk about for each figure. So, yeah, it's kind of annoying. It's kind of why I didn't have a video last week. But yeah, thank you to everyone that watched the video this far. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, what you thought about any of the figures in this video. If you also got any of them, if you also plan on getting any of them. And also just let me know like what you're excited for, or what you guys are also getting down in the comments. Just finding out what other people are getting as far as figures go is just interesting. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you again for watching, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next one. See ya.